Gets open for three. Dagger!
Hello, and welcome back to Well Beyond the Arc. I'm sorry, guys, don't hate me. It's just me. I am not joined by the great, fantastic co-host that is David. David will be back for next week's show. I'm the guy that's trying to schedule a show last minute and he couldn't be on. So David will be back for next week's show, but I'll be on tonight, so try to bear with me while I get through a little basketball. But we have a lot of exciting basketball to talk about, so please, if you are in and able to, fill the comments. If you have anything to add to what I am saying, go for it. Or if you have any other topics I am not covering that you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments below. We are going to get started how we always get every single show around here started with, and that is Good, Bad, and Ugly. And I got to give a shout out before we do Good, Bad, and Ugly. Good, Bad, and Ugly began with the great Manoli, my first co-host who I did the show with, all the way back in 2022. That was the first time we did a show. So shout out to Manoli. I miss you. One of my many exes, what can I say? But this time it's podcast ex. But no, he's just busy. He's got a wife and kids, whatever, right? This is more important. But no, he will return at some point. We're going to do a special episode someday. But shout out to Manoli because he is the founder of Good, Bad, and Ugly. Also, check out his blog. It should be in the Yankee and the Brit. I will put it in the comments below. I don't remember what it's called, but check out. He writes blogs, and he just wrote his first one after 2 years. So he's back after a 2-year hiatus. Shout out to Manoli. But also, we got to give a shout out to our good for the show, which is the 76ers. And listen, if David was here, he'd be rolling his eyes, and he would ask me why I'm in love with them. I'm not in love with them. I'm not in love with them at all. The reason that the 76ers are my good is because they are 7-3 in their last 10, and they're the 5th seed. And listen, is that the best in the East? Is that the best in the NBA? Is that something that should really excite fans and make them think that they're going to the finals and that they're glad they trusted the process? Absolutely not. But what it does prove is the 76ers can win basketball games. And guess who can help them win basketball games? Joel Embiid. And I get it. At this point, he's a vet. He's considered a vet. He's been in the league long enough. He is considered a veteran player, and he's proving that he can come in and make a difference for the 76ers. There was a narrative that was building up around him that he was too broke and that he couldn't come in. And this is an MVP, by the way, which that MVP, whether he should have won it or not, that is up for debate. By the way, top 10 centers of all time is at the end of the show, so do not leave. But anyways, 7-3. The 76ers are looking like the 76ers that we know and love, but it's also a 76ers team that is revitalized with some young talent that is going to take them to the next level. Yes, Joel Embiid is a great player and a great piece of this team, but he is more of a piece, and we're looking at Maxey and we're looking at their rookie being more of the front seat of this team, and it's working out. They're playing great. They're 5th seed in a pretty competitive East, so it's not just blowing smoke. Shout out to the 76ers. Will they remain 5th seed? I don't know. I think they will. I don't think they'll drop below the 6th seed, but I can see them it shaking up a little bit and then dropping to the 6th seed. But they are not going to be. I don't think they're going to be in a play-in situation. And you heard it here first. You can quote this. You can clip this. Jay Clips, our producer, clips these parts of our shows and puts them on Instagram, YouTube. Clip this. The 76ers will not be in the play-in, and that is not because they're missing it. That is because they're going to be a playoff team. So I truly believe that. I am not a 76ers fan, but I do believe that in my heart, and I do. And listen, I could have said there are plenty of other things right now in the NBA that are good, but for me, I couldn't pick a team that was better than this team because this is a team that is showing up and showing out and playing really consistently and winning some pretty competitive games. Regardless of who those opponents are, they're competing, and that's what you need. So shout out to the 76ers. They're my good. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant right now. So moving on to my bad. Kevin Cupcake Snake Durant. First of all, if you don't know, which plenty of people probably don't know, I did go to the Los Angeles Lakers Christmas Day game, which was against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. And of course, the Houston Rockets cooked them, unfortunately. But Kevin Durant played a phenomenal game. And seeing him live and seeing his just both sides of the ball, because people forget he can play defense. Is he a defensive player of the year? Is he a player that's going to always put up big defensive numbers? No, but he can play defense. And Kevin Durant put up a masterclass. And as much as I hated seeing the Lakers lose, I did enjoy seeing that. So before I say anything about Kevin Durant, shout out to Kevin Durant, shout out to the Rockets, shout out to that move. It's making a lot of sense. But why is Kevin Durant my bad? Because after he beat the Suns, he made comments saying he was a scapegoat for the Suns and said he was kicked out. Listen, I get it. This is the same dude that probably has 6 burner accounts that we don't even know about across multiple social medias. This dude definitely is on social media. He's online. He's wrapped up in what people have to say. He's wrapped up in this. He's wrapped up in that. And I don't really blame him, because are we forgetting what happened when he went to the Warriors? Everybody hated him. If you were not a Warriors fan, you hated him. Even if you were just a fan of the league, you hated him for what it meant for basketball, because there was your super team, and they very much were a super team for multiple seasons. They definitely earned that title and kept that title even until they lost in the finals to the Raptors. They still were a super team. You take those injuries away, they might win. So it's a whole different story. Kevin Durant, obviously, that to me is the one thing that warrants maybe him reading into comments, reading into that, is he definitely was thrashed pretty hardcore by the media when he went to the Warriors. Then he went to the Nets. He wasn't as thrashed by the media, but there definitely were questions on how that was going to go. And honestly, for a pandemic, for this and for that, for coming back off of an injury, for being inconsistent, all of these reasons, I could go on and on and on. He actually did have some success. And personally, I consider his Nets time more successful than his Suns time for team and otherwise success. He goes to the Suns in a move that, to me, made no sense for anyone involved. Yes, you're pairing him and Booker up, but you're giving up a core and a team that just went to the finals. Did they give it all up for KD? No, but I think they should have. Tale as old as time. Except this is a team that didn't win the chip, so it's slightly different. If you went to the finals and you made a deep push, I say you bring the similar team back, the coach back, to this, to that, and they started breaking that team up after they lost in the finals. And I think the Kevin Durant trade or pickup made sense to them, but I think it was a very short, close, and small window. I don't think this was ever something that was going to be a 5+ year commitment where Kevin Durant is sticking around. Because let's be honest, do we see Kevin Durant sticking around on any team for 5+ years? At this point, do we see that? Do we see him sticking around? I sure as hell don't. And I'm not, again, I just praised him. I said seeing him live is an experience that I'm never going to forget, because I've seen him one other time in a preseason game, but this was, he was dialed in, and the emotions that he plays with, he definitely is a troll on the court, and he loves it. He eats it up, and it's fun to see. But to make a comment and say that you were a scapegoat for a team that, in my personal opinion, you should have never even been on is a crazy take. And again, here's what I will say. Let's say that the Suns go to the finals 2 years ago with Kevin Durant, and they make it to the finals and they lose in the finals. And then last year, they have an unsuccessful season, no success. They drop Kevin Durant, scapegoat. They never had that much success. What year did the Suns go to the Western Conference Finals with Kevin Durant? I'll wait. There's no one in the comments right now, so I'll be waiting for a while. I'll wait either way. They never did. They never went to the Western Conference Finals with Kevin Durant. They were closer without him. And guess what? I think they're closer without him again. Are they going to make it to the Western Conference Finals this season? No. But I think they're closer without him. So I don't think him and Booker ever had the best chemistry. I don't think it was like they had any problems, because it seems like they were pretty close-ish. They went on vacation together. They went to Cancun quite a bit. Haha, right? Am I right or am I right? I'm right, by the way. But no, Kevin Durant definitely should not have made those comments, because it's a bad look, because he's doing so good. He's doing great things on the Rockets. Is he their MVP leading? No, but dude is a certified hooper, and he will always be a certified hooper. You heard it here first. Anyone saying he's washed, overrated, that's enough. I don't want to hear it. The only thing I don't like is the other stuff. And I get it. I get being a troll. I get having burner accounts. I get buying into it. But I think at this point in his career, he needs to just look at where he's at with the Rockets and look at the fact that he has a chance to win another title. Let's be honest. Let's not pretend like the Rockets do not have a chance to win a title with Kevin Durant. This is Kevin Durant's last chance to win a title, but it is a good chance to win a title. So I didn't like these comments. I don't think he was kicked out by the Suns. I honestly think he wanted out as well, and I think he wanted out before he was ever let out. And so I just think it's Kevin Durant. He made another media comment, and it's kind of annoying to see. But still, certified hooper, certified baller. Seeing him live, I'm sorry, I know it's kind of annoying. Seeing him live is probably, I mean, LeBron and Luka did play really good, and I have seen LeBron have much far better games and seen them win, blah, blah, blah. But it was definitely a top 4 experience for me seeing an athlete live. And we got cooked. It was us getting cooked, so that should tell you how good it was. My ugly. Well, look at the colors in this little podcast here, purple and gold, like the Lakers. And that's my ugly. The Los Angeles Lakers, excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice out here. The Los Angeles Lakers are a team that they're seeing this with my own 2 eyes in person. I've been watching, I will be honest, I'm kind of a fair weather fan this season, not in the sense of if they lose or win games, in the sense of tuning into games. I've not tuned into that many games. When I lived in Hawaii, I used to watch games while I coached swim practice. Like I'd put it up on my computer and just have it on in the background. Usually I would turn it off around third quarter or fourth, like around the third, fourth when they were starting to lose. But the point is I really have not watched that many games this year because of my schedule. But the games I have watched, even when they have won, they have had a lot of holes in their game plan. And there's a lot of talk about locker room, about this, about that, about JJ, about accountability, about egos, about there's so many things. What we have to remember is it's the Los Angeles Lakers. These are things that are always surrounding them. These are things that are always surrounding them and always will be. They will always have rumors. They will always have all of these little things will always surround the Lakers. And that is because it is the Lakers. So as much as it's annoying, I mean, our record is not ugly. We're third in the West right now. I mean, we're playing the Pels, and last I checked, we were losing, but I'm sure that's not going to remain. And that's been the theme for us is we'll play bottom tier teams and be losing and then turn it on and then win in the end, or play mid-tier teams. Very rarely have we played a top tier team and won. So I'm going to say that again. Very rarely have we played a top tier team and won. The Rockets, in my opinion, are a top tier team, and we got smoked. And seeing this in person and seeing how many second chance points we gave up, if you do not give up half of those, it's a 10-point game max. And so, and I don't know if that is statistically how it was and like accurate, but it was close. I mean, the amount of rebounds we gave up in the game I saw live was ridiculous. And then other games I've just watched online or on TV. Shout out to Meth Streams. Shout out to Stream East. Shout out to all the boys. Stop, Dana White, stop taking our boys down. I want Stream East. I want Meth Streams. I want it all. I can't watch games any other way. Every game I've watched on any platform, the Los Angeles Lakers are getting out-rebounded. They're getting absolutely blasted on defense. And guess what? We're still winning some of those games. Are we going to win a 7-game series like that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have to bring your A game when it comes to the postseason. And the Lakers, as they stand right now, as the third seed in the West, as they stand right now as I record this, I don't think they make it very far in the playoffs if they do not clean it up. And we'll talk more about them later, and I'll go into a little bit more of a deep dive. But they're my ugly this show. Next show with David, they could be my good. But the problem is, and I'm going to talk more Lakers specifics later, the Lakers have a favorable schedule in January. And so even if they go on a run, they've got the Spurs coming up. That's a big one. That's a tough one. They need to win that one, especially after their last showing against the Spurs. But the Lakers have a favorable schedule. I'm not going to pretend they don't have a favorable schedule. They should win out in Jan. They should. And if they don't, We got a bigger problem. I'm going to make a new category below ugly because that's ridiculous. They play the Trailblazers. Okay, come on. The Trailblazers are ridiculous. They're one of the worst teams. Regardless of how they play sometimes, you're not losing. The Pelicans. Last I looked, we were losing to the Pelicans. If anyone is able to comment, look it up on the line. Tell me what the score is because I can't look it up right now. Moving on, good, bad, and ugly is done. We are going to talk about a little bit of trade deadline rumor. Listen, the trade deadline is not for a little while. There are some names heating up. One of the biggest ones is Trae Young. If you don't know who Trae Young is, he is a member of the Atlanta Hawks. He is a point guard, and this is the dude has ice in his veins, silenced New York, brought Atlanta back. Atlanta was dead in the water for a few years. He brought them back, and now it's time for them to move on. It's time for everybody to move on. I honestly think he should have moved on a season or two ago, but this is a player that I fully believe is gone before the deadline. There is another player we're going to talk about in a little bit that I think is the opposite and will actually remain on his team until the summer. Trae Young is gone. Here is why. There is a very big case for him to, and again, he's staying in the East. Don't pretend like he's going to the West. Who needs him in the West? Who needs him in the West? And don't say the Clippers. He's not going to the Clippers. I was looking when I was doing my research because I'm a researcher. You know what I mean? I was doing my research. There's rumors of him going to all of these Western Conference teams that are the bottom of the bottom. He's not doing that. If he goes to a Eastern Conference or a bottom tier team, it's going to be in the East. I think one deal that would make sense, even though I believe they're 14th, Trae Young to the Wizards makes sense for everybody involved. Is it going to be successful right away? No, but I do think for his career and for the Wizards, it could be something that gives them a little bit of a boost, but I do not believe that is what's happening. And there's Dennis popping in. You know how it is at the studio. But here's what I'm going to say. Listen, Trae Young is going to an Eastern Conference contender. I said it, and I'm going to say it again. He is not going to the Wizards. That is the third team I will say he maybe goes to, but it's just because I want to give three teams. Here are the two teams. I know he's going to one of these teams. Cavs or Raptors. Let me say why. Both of these teams have pieces they can move. Cavs, in my opinion, makes a little more sense. I believe the Cavs are 8th or 9th right now. The Cavs need to make a move to give them a little bit of a boost. Yes, they've got Garland. Yes, they've got, Lonzo, Triple B's, I'm the man. Leveled up, I'm Super Saiyan. No one knows what that is. Look it up. Lonzo Ball is washed. I have a Lonzo Ball jersey I should have worn tonight. But Lonzo Ball is washed. He's not – Lonzo Ball is not the Lonzo Ball of the Lakers or even of the Bulls. I do think he is a role player, but I don't even know if I would consider him a solid role player at this point. The Cavs need a little bit of a boost. Trae Young is perfect. The Raptors. Last show we talked, I said I love the Raptors. They're playing great. I'm pretty sure our title was about the Raptors. I wouldn't say that now, guys. They're 3-6 in their last few, I believe, or 4-6. They are not, or 3-7 even maybe. Either way, they are not playing solid ball. They don't have consistency that a player like Trae Young offers. Could I be wrong and he ends up in a Western Conference bottom tier team? Absolutely. But I am saying in order of how I think it goes for likelihood. Cavs 1, Raptors 2, Wizards 3. Those are the three teams I think he goes to one of them. And then I had a thought. I was like, wait, hold on. What if Milwaukee in some universe makes a move? What the heck was that? I'm in great grandma's rocking chair tonight and she's talking to me a little bit. It's making way too much noise. I'm pretty sure it's about to break. This might be my last show in this chair. I might need a new chair. So donate so I can get a chair. No, but listen, I think there's a universe where Milwaukee looks at, and we're going to talk about Giannis later, looks at a way to bring in a player like Trae Young as a last-ditch effort to keep Giannis. But I don't think they're there anymore. I think all parties have moved on. So, and Jay, if you're watching this, whenever you watch it, I'm sorry, pal. I think it's time to move on and look at the future for everybody. But maybe, man, I'm talking. This chair is making lots of noise. I definitely think it goes Cavs, Raptors, and then Wizards for Trae Young. Maybe Giannis and the Bucks make a last-ditch effort and they go for a trade. But I think, and then again, the West, I didn't even put a Western team because I don't think there's any team in the West that it makes sense. But I do think at this point, because the Hawks have a little bit of control in the situation, maybe they do deal him to the West. I'm not sure. I'm thinking he stays in the East. Also, the problem with staying in the East is you don't want to deal him to, someone that's a direct person that's going against you, a direct rival, a direct person in your conference. So it'll be interesting, but I think he stays in the East. Moving on, before we talk about Giannis, because like I said, spoiler alert, we are talking about Giannis. I got to talk about a team that I hate. I freaking hate this team. This is the worst team on the planet. This team, there is nothing I hate more than this team at all. Boston Celtics. But Boston went from a bottom level team ranking wise to a top 3 in the East, and they're on fire. And guess who's leading the train, leading the flame? My boy Jaylen Brown. Hey, guess what? I said he could do it. This guy, coach said it. I mean, I'm not smart for saying that. It's Jaylen. He is a certified bucket. The only reason he's not been an MVP, stay with me now. The only reason Jaylen Brown has not been an MVP candidate year after year is because he is on a team with Jason Tatum, and that's not a diss on Tatum. They are Batman and Robin. They're one of the best duos. Why don't we talk about this? Yes, they're not always on the court together. One of the best duos in the current NBA. And I will say that proudly, even though I hate the Celtics. Take one of them out, and the other one can pick up more of a load. So the question is, the Celtics have a pretty big stretch coming up. We have the Nuggets, and then we have the Spurs, and then we have hold on. Nuggets, Spurs. I can find it. I'm forgetting who the third one is. I've been on a roll. I'm not going to lie. For no co-host, I felt better than the last show by myself. Either way, I got it. Hold up. Raptors, Spurs. So Nuggets, Raptors, Spurs are their next 3 games. These are big games. These are all teams that are contenders based off of their top 6 placing. Here's what I will say. The Celtics are definitely, I don't want to say undersized, but they have some weaknesses in certain areas. And obviously they don't have Tatum, and they're not going to have Tatum. But they can beat the Raptors. They can beat the Spurs. Yes, they can beat the Spurs. I know the Spurs have Wemby. Wemby is ridiculous. Wemby is the next player I want to see live, because Wemby is like no other player. When Wemby is healthy and on the court, expect an MVP caliber performance. So, yes, the Celtics are going up against an MVP caliber player in Wemby, but I believe this Celtics squad is scrappy, they're tough, and they can beat a Celtics team. Who are they losing against in this 3-game stretch? The Nuggets and Joker. Guys, I'm going to sit right here and admit, I've been wrong a couple times. One of the times I was wrong is when I said Joker was I didn't say he was mediocre. I said the only thing Joker is really great at is passing. Give me grace. This take was like 2 or 3 years ago. I fully was wrong, because this is a player that he belongs in the top talks of top centers of all time. Triple-double machine, and a player that is unlike most other players in the game of basketball. So shout out to Joker. I think the Nuggets could honestly give them a pretty tough game and beat them by a decent amount. So I think the Celtics go 2 for 3 in their next 3, losing to only the Nuggets. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it'll be a game that's a blowout. I mean, I think it'll be close until the 4th, and then maybe the Nuggets pull away. But I think the Celtics, the next question, the follow-up question is, how far can the Celtics team go with no Tatum? Because they were looking at maybe being a play-in team, if even that. And now they're looking at being a top 3 team. Here's what I will say. We're doing contender versus pretender later. I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert, especially for the people that won't be here. They're a contender. The Celtics are a contender without Jason Tatum. So I truly believe if they're on a roll, if everyone else stays healthy, and maybe they look at what they have and what they need to do, they have a great coach. They have an MVP caliber player in Jaylen Brown. I'm going to say this again. You take Tatum off, And Brown is an MVP candidate multiple years. And that's not a knock on Tatum. He just knocks his numbers down slightly. But Brown is an absolute bucket. And he is going to help lead the Celtics to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. Boom. Boom. Yeah. You know what? I hate them. But sometimes you've got to love on stuff that you hate. Yeah? Go Celtics. Just kidding. I fucking hate them. Moving on. The big man himself. By the way, I'm going to enjoy this really quick. Give me 1 second. But we're talking about Giannis next. Giannis. Anyone that doesn't know who Giannis is, while I go off, I can give you a second to Google him. Giannis, Milwaukee Buck. Okay. NBA champion. Okay. MVP. Okay. Yeah. Sure. MVP candidate multiple years. Okay, whatever. What's the big deal about him? Giannis is a generational talent. He is the type of player you plug him in any generation for the rest of the NBA. For the rest of the NBA. I'm not just talking past. Generational players, you can plug them in the future. You can say that today. Giannis is a generational player, and he could be in any generation for the rest of the NBA's future, plus past. He is a certified hooper on all ends of the court, and you are seeing him drag a sorry Bucks team to what I think will be a playoff appearance. But the question is he leaving? Yes. I'm going to keep it simple. Giannis is gone. Giannis has been gone. This Bucks team screwed up with how they have handled a player like Giannis. They have attempted to throw all of these random superstars into the mix, these random players into the mix. And I don't think they've ever really taken a look at what Giannis wants. And I could be completely wrong, but they seem like such a disconjointed team. It seems like they're not a team that's on the same page with what their star. The only reason they have a freaking title or anything in the last 40 plus years to their name, and they didn't handle it right. And how do you handle it right? And I do believe the Dame experiment, I get it. I got it. I don't know if I said I got it on this show. I think I said I got it a little bit. Of course, I had my doubts with the injuries and this and that was what ended up happening. They just, again, disconjointed. They've never made a move that, in my opinion, has made a difference since they won their title and built that team and had a team that was strong like that title team. To their credit, they did keep a lot of the players from that team for several seasons, but I just don't think they made the proper moves and surrounded Giannis with the right pieces for him to be able to win. And so for me, the Bucks will move on from Giannis. Giannis will move on from the Bucks. It's not going to be before the deadline. There isn't going to be a deal big enough for Giannis or that makes sense for Milwaukee before the deadline. I could be wrong. Watch me finish this episode tonight, which it's so early. A move like that would happen middle to the end. Watch me finish this episode or before we come back and there's news that he's going somewhere. I just don't think there's a deal that can be made that's big enough that makes sense. I think he belongs in a big market team. He belongs in the biggest market team. Purple and gold. For real. I'll sell everything to go to a game. If Giannis becomes a Laker, I will sell it all. I'll sell my cats. I don't know how much my cats are worth, but I'll sell them. I'll sell them for some Lakers tickets. I'm just playing. But seriously, Giannis to the Lakers would be an absolute – I mean, that would be such a cool experience, and seeing him and Luka pair up. This is what I mean. Could the Bucks have gotten Luka? No, probably not. But Luka and Giannis, a matchup, a pairing like that, Steph, Giannis, I'm going somewhere with this. These are matchups. These are pairings that make sense. The Bucks never did that. So is Giannis leaving? Yes. Is Giannis leaving before the deadline? No. Where is Giannis going? I truly believe the Los Angeles Lakers could be a team that he goes to. Is that a bit of a homer pick? I'll admit it is. I'll admit it's a little bit of a homer pick. Little bit of a homer pick. Why is it a little bit of a homer pick and not a lot? The Lakers are one of the biggest market teams. The Knicks are arguably the biggest market team in the East, just marketability, history, blah, blah, blah. They're not a very good team historically within the last 20, even 30 years, really just 20. But they're still the big. They don't want Giannis. They're good with who they have. And even by the summer, I don't see that changing. So I truly believe Giannis is going west. Giannis is going west. And guess where he's going? LA, where the stars shine brighter than anything else. All right. I've been there. I would know. All right. But seriously, Giannis is going to LA. What if Giannis doesn't go to LA? He's going to the Warriors. The Warriors are in a spot where this is the end of the dynasty. This is the end of the road. But Steph Curry is destined for one more title run. It's not with Jimmy Buckets. It's not with Draymond. It might be with Jimmy Butler, actually. I think he might end up getting moved on from at some point. But I think you move on from Draymond Green. You move on from several pieces. And I think Giannis becomes a Warrior. And I'm going to be honest, not a Warriors fan. I hated when they had Kevin Durant, like I said earlier. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't hate that. I would really like to see Giannis with a point guard like Steph or like Luka. Luka arguably can dish the ball slightly better than Steph, but Steph can do it all. We don't talk about Steph's ability outside of his shooting because we're so mesmerized by that. He's more than just shooting. But I think Giannis matches up with a Warriors or a Lakers. Or does he stay East? I really don't think so. If he stays East, I think he goes maybe to the Heat. The Heat are known to make deals. Pat, the Godfather, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to make a deal. He knows how to sell Miami. You don't really have to sell Miami. Geez, if I was Giannis or any NBA player, you don't have to sell Miami. You don't have to sell Miami. You don't have to sell Los Angeles. So I think Giannis isn't really about the party life, the nightlife, all of that extra stuff. But I still think if he stays East, he only goes to Miami. I'm giving him Miami. That's the one place I see him staying if he stays in the East. What do the Bucks do for the rest of the season? I believe they're 9th or 10th right now, or 11th. Giannis is going on a tear right now. What Giannis is going to do is stick it to Milwaukee and go on an MVP candidate type tear and get their sorry team. And Jay, clip this. Our producer's a big Milwaukee Bucks fan. Clip this right here. He's going to take their sorry team to the second round, and that's where they're going to get out. I believe that in my heart because Giannis is a player that can drag a sorry team like a LeBron has. He can drag a sorry team. It's only going to be so far, but I think in this Eastern situation right now, it could be a second round. Maybe first round is more realistic, but Giannis is going to go on a tear. What do we got? The Greek League. I don't think he stays in past this season. I do believe he stays a Milwaukee Buck for the rest of this remaining year. But he's going to be a Laker, or he's going to be a Warrior, or he's going to be maybe a Miami Heat player, possibly. But I don't know. I don't know if he'll be part of the Heat. The Heat's a little bit of a stretch. New York, though, and here's what I will say. What if New York bottoms out the rest of their season or just finishes in a place where they're not happy? They could revisit it and maybe make and Giannis could become Nick. And that would actually, I think my top two, not that anyone asked, but I'm just going to say it anyway. The top two places I'd like to see him go, Warriors, Knicks. I didn't say Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan. And it's not even because I'm a Lakers fan I want to see him as a Laker. Giannis and Luka, I can't even process that right now. I've seen Luka and LeBron, and I haven't even seen their best moments live, but even just seeing them take the court together and the way they played basketball when they were on the court together, you put Giannis on with Luka, that's times 100. LeBron who? I'm going to forget all about LeBron. Giannis could be the future of the Lakers. I'm not going there, though. I think he's a Warrior. I think he's a Knick. If the Knicks have a negative season, but again, I would even put the Heat. I would like to see him be a Knick. That's what I was saying. I forgot my train of thought. I would like to see him be a Knick. I don't think it's as realistic as even the Heat, but I wouldn't hate seeing him be a player for New York because let's look at if New York does deal for him or figure it out and you could still have very many pieces that are already a part of that team that are helping them win could remain. So New York could be cool, but again, I think they said they're not going to deal before the deadline. They're going to at least give it a season. I can see what they're doing giving it a season and seeing what happens. But Giannis is gone after this season. If you've just tuned in earlier, we talked Trae Young, definitely going to be dealt before the deadline. Where do you think he's going? If you have ability to comment, let me know. I said I think he's going to be a Cav. I think he's going to be a Raptor, or he's going to be a Wizard. But in some universe, does he become a Milwaukee Buck, and then they make a push? And what if Trae Young and Giannis are successful together? I like this. See, Giannis needs to be surrounded with 3 shooters and straight up. So here's the thing. Again, I'm not giving the East any possibility. Again, it makes sense in a lot of ways. In my mind, I'm not giving them a lot of possibility for him staying. I think he's going to go to the West. But if he stays in the East, I think the Heat can be sold to him in a way that makes sense. And I think you plug Giannis on the Heat, that is a scary team. I don't care what anyone says. You plug Giannis on any team, that's a scary team. But I think the Heat makes the most sense. The Heat, to me, makes the only sense for the East. But either way, Giannis remains a Buck. They sloppily make it to maybe they're a play-in team. I can see them being a play-in team. I think he makes it to the play-in with very big performances, and then they're either out in the first or second round, and then that's the end of his Bucks time. But again, let me know in the comments if you have any differing thoughts. I just do not see him sticking around very much longer, and I don't think Milwaukee, again, this is your marquee guy. This is your championship guy. This is your everything since Kareem. Let's be honest. Yes, they've had other players that have came in and made a little noise. You haven't had any players make a lot of noise since Kareem. And yes, again, there are several players that come to mind that have given them some success. But a championship, that's what I mean. That's the level that we're talking about here. So Giannis leaves Milwaukee. They got a chip out of it, and they got some good years. But they definitely, in my opinion, mishandled who they put around him, how they put it around him. And I think he will benefit much better in another squad. Moving on. Before we do this, listen to this, guys. A live score update. I think this is the first time we've done this before. Are the Lakers winning? 95-92 against the Pelicans. The 8-29 Pelicans. This is a perfect segue. I don't even need my freaking notes. The Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to do a little season review quickly because I still have 2 more segments that people are probably more interested in. But the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Fakers. No. Here's the thing. Yeah, actually, kind of. You know what? I like that. The Los Angeles Fakers. Because are they third? Are they third in the West? Does that look cute? Does that look nice? We like that. It's better than last year. Their best regular season record in a few years. Yes, 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 yes. Look at who their wins are against. Look at who their losses are against. Look at how they played even in their wins. Here's the thing. We have a big problem with rebounding. We have a super big problem with defense. We have a very big problem sometimes with heating up on offense and certain players that can be deadly actually showing up. It's way better than it's been. I will give the last one credit to that and say players have been showing up a lot better, and we've had a lot more consistency on our offensive side of the ball. But defense, where's the consistency? I sat there on Christmas Day like an idiot, praying for a Christmas miracle. That was a rebound that never came. All right? Are you freaking kidding me? Why? We cannot rebound to save our lives. We cannot get back on defense to save our lives. We do not make smart decisions on defense to save our lives. And yet we're number 3. So here's what I'm going to say. Rob Pelinka. I was close enough to throw something at him at the Lakers game. And I'm not trying to flex, but I was close enough to throw something at him. And I'm going to be completely honest. I was a little tempted to because I'm not a Pelinka guy. Pelinka is a major part of the Lakers' problems. He's not all of them. He's a major part of them because a lot of the buck really ends with him and stops with him on a lot of moves. And a lot of the moves at the end of the day go through his office. Whether he's the one that's fully a part of them, they go through his office. It's his job to make the best decisions for the team to help lead the team. That has not always happened. This offseason, I will give him credit. I think he had dumb luck. DeAndre Ayton has worked out better than I ever thought he would. He's more consistent than I would have thought he would be, and he's actually been the reason we have won some of these games where we've been down. So I will give him credit. Marcus Smart. I thought it was a good pickup. I wasn't sure about his health, and I'm still not sure about his health, but he definitely is a good piece. Laravia is a good player that can, but he's one of the ones that I was talking about being a little off and on. Rui Hachimura has been here for a few years. Love the guy. Another player that can be kind of off and on. Austin Reeves is injured right now. When he was playing, he was on pretty consistently. You could, argue that him and Luka were a bigger reason that they have their record than LeBron and Luka, or LeBron, period. And that's no hate to LeBron, because LeBron is having a historic season in his own right. I mean, he's not even just the oldest player to do a lot of the things he's doing statistically. He's just putting up big moments, and he's in my opinion, I love the decisions LeBron is making this season. This dude is in his 40s, and he's actually driving, to me, more than he was last season. And I could be wrong. Statistically, Manoli, if you're still watching, I think you were watching. I'm pretty sure you were. I'm pretty sure that's whose account was talking about Giannis. Either way, I miss having the guy that just, boom, it was right. Even David has it. I'm not the stats guy. Either way, though, when I was at the Lakers game on Christmas Day, how many times should I bring that up? But no, I have 3 clips of LeBron driving it. That's the most clips I've ever had of LeBron driving the ball in one game. And I've seen this is maybe my 6th or 7th time seeing him. I'm sorry, but I do think it's my 8th or 9th time seeing him. Oh, look, let's go. Appreciate it, man. I was talking earlier, if you ever are available, we want to do a special and have you on, because that would be a lot of fun. But no, and by the way, again, anyone that's tuning in, again, I appreciate it. It's just me tonight, but David will be back next week. Our schedules are very hard to match up, but we'll make them work when we can. Anyways, but yeah, so I definitely think the Lakers, I don't even know if the Lakers I'm not going to say the Lakers need to, I do think they'll make some moves before the trade deadline. I don't think you're making major moves. I don't think you're dealing major players right now. I think you're making some small moves to clean up certain areas. And then I think you look inward at who you have and at your lineups, and give LeBron a little bit of credit to get his legs back even more, coming back from his injuries, being older. I think this Lakers team, they have a favorable January, but I think they win January out, and then I think they continue that success. Now, do they finish 3rd in the West? I don't think so. Even if they make some moves that strengthen them, or don't make moves but change certain things that strengthen them, I don't think they finish 3rd. I think they're 4th or 5th, maybe even 6th. I'm not going to give them 6th, because I do think they finish 4th or 5th, but I don't think they're not going to be a playing team. They're not. And maybe they finish 3rd. Maybe they finish 2nd. 1st is OKC. Let's be honest. We already know that. Regardless of how many games they may drop, they're still going to be 1st. But yeah, so the Lakers don't need to do anything crazy, but I do think they need to look inward more than anything else. There's rumors of the coach. There's always going to be rumors of the Lakers coach. I mean, if you've watched this show, which 2022, it's crazy. That's when we did our first episode. The Lakers coach has always been on the hot seat every time we've done a show. Almost every single month, maybe that's not accurate, but I would say every other month that we've done a show, there has been absolutely 100% the Lakers are on the hot seat, or the Lakers coach, something about him is on the hot seat. Something is broken out, something about the team. They have so much media circus around them. So I'm not freaking out about JJ Redick in that, because I honestly think, Redick coaches and here's the thing. I'm not a coach. I'm a swim coach. I'm not a basketball coach, but I know enough about coaching. He coaches like a rookie coach. He coached our playoff round against Timberwolves like a rookie coach. He did. We saw cracks in his coaching. We've seen cracks in his coaching that are similar to cracks in his actual game. But here's what we do, in my opinion. We don't look to, let's fire. And I don't think JJ's not getting fired. He's not getting fired. Ooh, okay, hold on. Now, here's what I will say. Portland was one of the teams when I did my research on this and was looking at teams, not teams that I thought, just teams that are in the media, whatever. Portland's in there. Houston, man, if Houston gets Trae Young, it's over. I'm going to say it right now. That's a crazy take possibly, but if Houston gets Trae Young, whether that be this season or next, they're going to be a team that's in the title game because that puts them over the top. And so Houston I like that one. And I think, again, Houston, I don't remember if when they picked up Kevin Durant and made those moves, if I said, I think I said if Kevin Durant can stay healthy and if it's not the show where it's all about, and not even him, it's the media and everyone else that's like, he has to be this guy. If he is just a vet that can drop 30 plus on you any given night, he's more likely to drop 22 to 26 now, but he can drop any number of points on your head and be up in your face on defense. If he can be that guy and he can be that absolute legend he is and fit in with everyone they already have in Houston, they have a team. You add Trae Young, that's a contender. They're already a contender. I like that. That excites me a little bit. And you know what? Maybe I'm becoming a Houston fan after seeing them live and kind of seeing them. The energy that they have is exciting. So I'm all for it. I like that. And honestly, watch it happen. Watch us be talking about Trae Young to Houston. And Portland, back to that one briefly. I can see it. I think if he's going to a team that's in a situation like Portland, which Portland has actually had some decently positive moments during this season, but overall they've not looked obviously stellar. If he's going to a team like that, I think it's the Wizards, but I can see either Portland or Houston. Moving on, we're going to do a little contender versus pretender. We're going to just run through the top 6 in the East and West, and I'm going to say if I think they're a contender or a pretender. Let's start with the West, the Wild, Wild West. I mean, come on now. OKC Thunder. Definitely pretenders, guys. This team, I'm going to go on a rant. Give me just 1 second, please. And if David was here, he loves OKC. He's OKC. He loves OKC. He loves New York. He loves the Lakers. And I'm going to be honest. Those are not the worst teams to like. If he was a fan of certain other teams, I'm not so sure. But we get along because I can be okay with those teams. But OKC, they are not going to break the season record of wins. But they are going to be, off the top of my head, the first seed in the West by 8 to 12 games by the end of the season. I can see that happening pretty easily. They put all their chips in, and they did what any smart team would do after you win a chip because of this player, that player, that player, that player. You make them lucrative deals. You make it make sense for them to stay. That's what OKC did. That's what a contender does. It is going to take a team to surprise OKC in the playoffs as of right now. Now, back to, I'm going to pull it back up, receipts. Trae Young to Houston, if that happened before the deadline. Then you're talking about that's the other contender. Just saying. That, and I'm not the Lakers, that's your team that is contending against OKC. So OKC, absolute contender. Moving on to second, Spurs. I'm going to say it, pretender. Here's what I'm going to say. Hold on. I made this call first episode when I was by myself. So maybe it's just when I'm by myself I make bad calls on the Spurs. I think the Spurs are a pretender looking at a playoff situation. Are they a pretender regular season? No, absolutely not. But it's contender versus pretender. It's not regular season top 6 team versus pretender. They are not going to make it past, second round. That's not a contender. A contender is someone we talk about making it to at least the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals. Give me pretender all day for the Spurs. That could change, but I think they're a pretender. Lakers, guess what? You're not going to get any love from me tonight, boys. You're a pretender right now. Second round exit at best. Nuggets, contender. They're currently behind the Lakers, but the Nuggets are a contender. And they are definitely a team that I can see having a strong push post All-Star break as well. Rockets, contender. If they get Trae Young, if they don't get Trae Young, they're a contender. If they get Trae Young, they are the contender behind OKC. And then T-Wolves, pretender. I'm not mad about them beating us in the playoffs last year. I still am. I have nightmares. I wake up screaming in cold sweats. I'm not joking. But no, they definitely are a team that could they've had late season pushes or just like finished seasons extremely strong, and then we're like, okay. I don't think that happens this year, but I think they avoid the play-in and they're a 6th seed team, and I think they can maintain their 6th seed. Moving on to the East, the Pistons. I'm going to go contender. It's kind of hard for me because I think part of me wanted to say pretender, and that's kind of a crazy take, and I can admit that's a crazy take as it's left my mouth, but I think part of me isn't sold on the Pistons, especially because of several teams that are behind them, but they're still a contender because of what they're doing and who they look like as a team. Celtics, contender. Said this earlier. You've got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. We have not talked about this enough as NBA fans, they're one of the best, if not the best duos in the NBA for the 2020s. They really, truly are. Are they always on the court together? Are they always doing great things, big things at the same time? No, but easily. Dynamic duo. Take one out, that production goes up from the other, and it's happened multiple times if you look throughout their careers. So the Celtics have Jaylen Brown, and they have a good cast around him, and I think they truly are a contender. The Knicks, contender. Go New York, go New York, go. Listen, I don't like the Knicks, but they're a team I don't hate. I like Cat, Cat's kind of funny with it. I like watching him play. He's kind of a funny guy. I like Cat. I like Jalen Brunson. Honestly. That's on my list, is going to a game in New York, because that'd be a lot of fun. Raptors, pretender. They're looking like they got some holes. Let's say they get a Trae Young. I could change him to a contender. I would change him to a contender. But I also don't know if that makes sense for them to get Trae Young at this point, to be honest with you. I don't know. I said that earlier, and I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing it, but I'm not sure what it will look like with them. 76ers, guess what? It's not crazy. They're a contender. When we're talking about the East, I can see the 76ers absolutely being a contender, especially if they stay healthy. Yeah, the Knicks should win the East, but yeah. Well, listen, yes, exactly. And that's another reason I don't think they get, going back to the Giannis points, that's another reason I don't think they get a Giannis, is because that is a team that absolutely should win the East. But, and you couldn't have said it any better, Magic, pretender. So these are the top 6 right now. I don't think anything's changed since recording. Before we do our final segment, which you guys do not want to miss, the top 10 big men of all time, the Lakers officially are winning 107-100 with 27 seconds left. Again, timeout. It's against the Pelicans. I can't be that excited. LeBron dropped a 30-piece, though. We love that. Ayton had 11 rebounds. We also love that. And Giannis had 10 assists. Beautiful night of Laker basketball. Maybe I should bump them up from my ugly after this performance. But again, it's the Pelicans. Moving on, our top 10. And I don't have David. I have you guys. I'm relying on you guys to tell me if my takes if my list is crazy, and don't hold back. David is always very honest and says my lists are wild. This is top 10 centers of all time. Originally, I was going to write down stats, championships, awards. And you know what? Going forward, I'll be prepared. Today, I did not have time to do that. But what I did have time to do was make a list that I think is a compelling list, and I'll try to make a compelling argument for each player. Coming in at number 10 on my list is Mr. Speaking of Knicks, speaking of go New York, go Patrick Ewing. No chips. No chips, and honestly, as he aged, he was restricted. His last few, he definitely aged very poorly. Honorable mentions, Azar Puccilia. If there was a list for the top 10 players that tried to injure and ruin other players' careers, he'd be on it. And also, the mental side of him, I think not even when he was doing that. I do think there's something to be said for a player like Zaza, but he's not on this list. Patrick Ewing, defensive legend. As he aged, he deteriorated and showed, but he definitely is one of the best players of all time and easily one of the best centers of all time. He is the only player on this list without a ring. I will say that again. He is the only player on this list without a ring. So do with that what you will, but that should kind of give us a hint of, I don't want to say the standard for being on this list, but it definitely was not just any old player. And speaking of not just any old player, and people are going to be like, come on, coach. Cut the cameras. There's no way. Hear me out. Number 9, Dwight Howard. Guys, one-time NBA champ. Obviously, it was it was Mickey Mouse ring, LaMickey and A Disney. It was the LaMickey and A Disney ring, but it's a ring all the same. And also, and I actually don't think it was a bubble. I think it was a legit. I think there's an asterisk because I think just like when we've had a shortened season, this and that, there are seasons when I think there should be some sort of acknowledgement for it being a slightly different year. You don't take away from the championship. Anyways, enough of that rant. Dwight Howard, one-time champion. And before that, because at that point, he was really just a role player and a locker room piece and not really a player that boosted us that much on the court. And he still did at times, but multi-defensive player of the year. And when he was Superman in Orlando, people were saying this could be one of the best players of all time. And I truly think talent-wise, maybe not statistics-wise totally for this claim. Talent-wise, he's easily one of the best NBA talents all time. And his abilities were ridiculous. And let's say he doesn't have the same injuries, surgeries, this, that. You're looking at potentially a couple more defensive player of the years and an MVP. So Dwight Howard's on this list comfortably. Number 8, feeling great for number 8. And you know why? Because it's Joker. Listen. My old co-host remembers when I said Joker was overrated. I think David also, my current co-host, will remember me saying that he's overrated. I'm never saying that again. If we're talking best passing big man of all time, Joker's top 5. But this is top 5 all-time everything. And this dude, I would be doing a disservice to the sports community if I said Joker was not on this list. And Joker is the only, I want to say this also, Joker is the only active player on this list and the only active player by far. Dwight Howard's the closest active player, and then everyone else is removed by quite a bit. So this should tell you how, yeah, Joker's on this list. And Joker will finish, in my opinion, with one more chip, one more MVP, and will finish top 5 centers all time. I really think so. Number 7 is a player that some of you maybe have not heard about. Robert Parrish. I hate talking about the Celts. Cannot help it, though, because this player, multi-champion for them, the Larry Bird age, the golden age of basketball for them. They were just – it was just ridiculous watching them play. They were aggressive. They played the game in a really, really, really respectable way, and they were definitely a team that, I mean, they broke players and other teams down to their core and just absolutely – dismantle them. And Robert Parrish was a big part of that. So Robert Parrish, number 7. Number 6, the General David Robinson, Mr. Spur himself. Before there was Timmy, there was David Robinson, and then there was both of them. Does anyone remember that they were on the team together? Either way, David Robinson is not only a Spur legend, he is also an NBA legend. He was a really efficient player that could really do it all, and he was a really big part of the start of the Spurs dynasty. You take David Robinson away, I don't think we see the same Spurs dynasty that we saw. So my humble opinion, but I believe it, and I'll say it fully. We're getting into our top 5. It's getting real. The top 5 best centers of all time. Number 5, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. This dude was a legend for a lot of reasons, some that we're not going to say on air. Come on now. I'm talking in the thousands. We'll let you think about what I'm talking about. Either way, no. Wilt Chamberlain could do it all. He was athletically gifted. He had charisma. He could rebound 50 plus in a night. He could score 100 plus in a night. If you know, you know. Shout out to the NBA scoring record that will never get beaten. So, and you know what? We're gonna bring a guest star in. This is Dennis. Oh, come on, Dennis. Let's go. Dennis after Dennis Rodman, and he really likes my list. What do you think, Dennis? You like it? Yeah, he does. Dennis agrees, and so you guys should agree as well. Wilt the Stilt, multi-champion. But what he accomplished statistically is more than what he accomplished with championships, and that's why he's in this list. And there's no way he could be left out of a top 5. Like I said, Joker might eventually move him out for my list, but we will see. Number 4, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, the Dream Shake. To this day, To this day, I cannot do the Dream Shake on 2K. Please drop the Dream Shake. How do we do it? Tell me how we do the Dream Shake. I want to learn how to do the Dream Shake. Multi-champion, Houston Rocket legend, a legend on both sides of the ball. Did you guys know that he tried to go to another team and make a failed super team? And imagine if that failed super team had succeeded. And then you're looking at, it wasn't really a super team, but it was a mix of aging stars that got together and tried to make something happen. Imagine, or a second stint in Houston. So imagine he wins 3 or 4 is all I'm going to say without rant. Imagine he wins 3 or 4. I do believe he is above my number 3, but my number 3 has way more than 3 or 4 championships. Bill Russell. Bro could not stop winning. Also, one of the best rebounders of all time. I think Bill Russell gets a little tricky for people to put in the top 5 or top 10 because of the era he played in. But I've said this, and honestly, every one of these players is a generational player. Patrick Ewing is not so much a generational player, in my personal opinion. I do think you plug him into today's NBA, and he's really not going to have the same amount of success as he had. But every other player, Dwight Howard, Joker, Robert Parrish, David Robinson, Wilt Chamberlain, Hakeem, Bill Russell, these are generational players. You could plug them in any era, and they are going to be one of the best players. So Bill Russell is that player. And I think that gets overshadowed by different aspects of his life. And I mean, he was so much more than basketball. And I think that being focused on is actually a tribute to who he is. But I think he was a better basketball player than people like to give him credit for. Number 3, we're into the top 2. Number 2, you already knew he was here. JaVale McGee, the GOAT. I'm just kidding. Number 2, well, actually, it's kind of funny that I didn't even mean to do that. Shaq is number 2, and Shaqtin' a Fool. Shaq loves to clown on players like JaVale McGee. So that's either here nor there. But Shaq, all day, number 2. Multi-champion, won for multiple teams. And honestly, we don't talk about there is a really good potential that the Celtics, he wouldn't have been a major part of that team. That Celtics squad, if it looked slightly different than he was a part of, maybe he goes for one last title push. I don't want to say that for sure because obviously that was far from the truth when he was on it with how it ended up. But I just think Shaq won where he went. And towards the end, obviously he gained weight. He wasn't the same player in a lot of ways with injuries and this and that. But Shaq was Shaq his whole career. Shaq was such a legend, and he had so many different lives in his NBA career. I mean, he had his Orlando stint where he was super dude could run up and down the court like it was nothing. Like he was LeBron freaking James. He was so agile and could move. And then obviously he got a little bit bigger and was a little bit more of a force in the paint and a little bit still could move. I mean, bro, Shaq is a generational player. I'm not going to waste too much breath saying that. I've already said it. Number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Definitely an unmatched talent, unparalleled talent, a player that had the scoring record and people thought would always have the scoring record until a Mr. LeBron James obviously came in and said otherwise. But here's what I will say. Kareem won wherever he went, which was only 2 places, but he won in Milwaukee. He won multiple for the Lakers, and he was just a force on all sides of the ball. And without Kareem, without Matt, I'll give Magic and Larry this too. There's no NBA still. There's professional basketball. There's no NBA. They saved the NBA, and Kareem is part of that. I don't think people say Magic, people say Larry. Kareem is part of that. So that's my top 10 list. If you have a top 10 you want us to do, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it, brother. Always good. Also, again, check out the Sports Page blog and picks. Is that our blog name? Because if that is, I am going to plug it with the right name. I tried at the beginning and did not know the name. I forgot it. So check out his blog. He just posted one that was amazing. It was awesome. A great read. And also check out David's podcast. I'm a bad co-host. I'm forgetting the name of it. I know what it is. I'm going to find it. Hold on. Bear with me for 1 second while I find this. Mind of the, wait. Stay with me now because I got it. Don't worry. David. Yeah, Mind of the Football fans. I just didn't want to say it wrong. Mind of the Football fans. David and his podcast put on a great show about football, not American football. I hope you caught on to that, but maybe not. Great show. If you love, I'm going to call it soccer. He's going to probably hate that. But if you love soccer, because a lot of our viewers might call it that. If you love soccer, give it a view. It's great. It's awesome. They do a great job. A lot of energy. They have a lot of fun. If you miss David, like I miss David, he'll be back next week. If you miss college football talk, I believe we may do a show before the season's done. If not, we will do one after. It's on me. If Mark, you're tuning into this, my bad, bro. It's my fault. We've been off. So, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I have so much fun bringing you guys NBA action. Thank you for the comments, and we will bring you more NBA news next week.